Hello, how's it going? My name is Oliver. Today I'll be sharing a quick roadmap you guys can follow in order to start your agency. This is kind of like the roadmap I give to members of the program. I don't go in depth on exactly how to start the agency. I made a bunch of content on that on my channel. This is more so like a plan for you to follow, like a guide. All right, so step 1, you do this, step 2, you do this. And then if you follow the steps, it will take some time, but these are the steps that I feel are like the most important parts into actually starting and running a successful agency. All right, so don't skip these steps. Do them one by one. I'm going to be sharing my screen, show you my favorite, my flow charts. I try to explain it super quickly, super simply. It's not too complex, but I'm telling you, if you follow these steps one by one, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to sign on a couple of clients and make your first 10 grand per month with the whole agency business model. So without wasting any more time, let's switch screens and I'll show you exactly the roadmap that I share in my program. All right, so here we are on the roadmap that I made. It is not too complex. I try to keep it super simple. Together, we're going to go through every single module, well, basically every single step. I call them modules. And I'll explain a bit more in depth what I mean by each of these squares. But I'm telling you right away, follow these steps one by one. No reason why you wouldn't be able to succeed with your agency, okay? It doesn't have to be marketing. Any type of agency you're trying to start, this is the roadmap that I give my students in my program. All right? So basically, Growth Solutions, that's the name of my company. We start here, discovery call, the onboarding the program, and these are the steps. All right, so let's go through the steps one by one. I'm going to try to make it super quick for you guys. Module 1, foundations. All right, this is very simple, just the basics for your business. For me, these ones are, well, the basics for me are the business name, the custom email, and the Stripe setup. These, for me, are the 3 things that you need in order to start. You don't need fancy website. You don't need fancy logo. You don't need your social media in place. If you guys have been watching a couple of my videos, you know that I often mention that currently I have 5 clients and I do not have a website. I don't have a logo. I just have these 3 names and this is all you need to get started. Okay. Once you sign on a couple of clients and you have money coming in, if you want to invest into a website and stuff like that, by all means, go ahead. But they are not required to start your agency. Okay. So don't focus on these things that everyone seems to be thinking that is very important, when in reality, they have basically no effect on your business. So business name, custom email, Stripe account. Once you have that down, for me, the foundations are set. You're ready to go. Next step, all right, module 2, offer creation. This is probably the most important step out of everything that I'm going to be sharing today. If you don't have this down, you are basically screwed. I made a bunch of videos on how to make an irresistible offer. So find them on my channel, watch them, very important. But this is basically where you're going to be picking your niche, your service delivery, your offer, as well as your guarantee. Okay? You need to have this down. Spend a day, spend 2 days, spend 3 days. The amount of days that you would spend making your website because you think it's very important should be spent on this part instead. Okay? Find a niche. Most niches are good, okay? Don't overcomplicate things. If you don't know what to pick, I made a video on my top 5 niches. Go watch that. Pick one, stick with it, okay? Every niche can be successful. There's not one that's better than the other. For me personally, if it's high ticket, it's pretty much good to go. So pick your niche, pick the best service delivery that could complement that niche, create your offer, and find some sort of guarantee. Okay, so if you work with plumbers, yeah, we run Google ads for plumbers. Our guarantee is very simple. We guarantee you at least 50 new jobs every single month. The best part is that if I don't deliver on this promise, you won't pay a penny. Sounds good? Okay, this is exactly how I would frame my guarantee. Obviously, switch it up for your niche, your guarantee, your service delivery, but you understand what I'm trying to say. Obviously, in the program, I would help you create this whole irresistible offer. So once you have that offer, this is when you would start preparing your cold calling. Okay, you don't start cold calling, but it's the cold calling prep. That's how I call it. This is mostly the cold calling script. I did make a video on my cold calling script. I recently made a new one, which I feel like is so much better than the old one. I'm probably going to be posting a video on it like tomorrow or after tomorrow, but make sure you have a script. Okay, a script can be quite complex. For me, the number one thing that I want to see in your guys' script is the offer. You have to mention it in some way to the prospect when you're cold calling, because that's how you're going to attract them. That's how you're going to kind of bait them into going in a meeting with you. All right, so if you call, say, hi, my name is Oliver. I run a local marketing agency in, your prospect's location. So in the Montreal area, pretty simple. I help plumbers acquire at least 50 new clients every single month. Best part is if I don't deliver, you won't pay anything. Sounds good? Would you be opposed to a quick 30-minute meeting where I can basically show you exactly the process of how we are able to bring you at least 50 new jobs every month? Something like that, okay? So work on your script. Very important. Once you have that down, you can start cold calling. Even if you don't have the other things prepared, once I'm at step 3, I have prepared my cold calling script, I've practiced, and I'm confident that I can start cold calling, I would start the cold calling right away. All right. Obviously, you do need to source your leads, have a cold calling tracking sheet. I have made videos on both of those subjects. So one on a cold calling tracking sheet. I basically gave you the link to exactly what I give in the program. So just copy it, do exactly that. As for how to find those leads, I also made a video on that exact subject. Okay, so for me, all of those things are the cold calling prep. Once everything is prepared, this is when I would start the cold calling. Okay, in the program, you get access to commission-based cold caller, but otherwise you can be doing the cold calls on your own. What I tell people is to do them during prime time. All right, so you might be asking, what is prime time, Oliver? For me, the best time to cold call is in the mornings, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. All right, outside of those hours, cold calling, what I feel like it isn't as effective. So if you can at least focus on cold calling in those hours, so 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. every single day during the work days, all right? So on the weekends, you don't have to cold call. If you can do that, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to sign on a couple of clients or get a couple of meetings during those cold calling hours. Okay, those are the best time to cold call because everyone is physically at the business. They're able to answer your calls. I feel like at 12, they go for lunch. And then past 12, that's when they go to meetings, they go to job sites or stuff like that. So they're not as easily reachable as they would in the morning. So focus in the morning, prime time. That's when I would do my cold calling. As I'm starting my cold calls, obviously I tell you, do it in the mornings. Once you've basically completed a day with your cold calling, I would finish my days by doing my sales meeting prep. So what does this mean? Get a presentation done. If I've also made a video on this subject, for me personally, I don't like the whole PowerPoint, like typical classic way to do the sales meeting. I've always used my workflow charts. I've always used case studies, and I've always been very just human, have like a real conversation with the person, be actually genuine, try to understand their needs, what are their goals, and then show them how my service can help them achieve those goals. Very simple. All right, so sales meeting preparation, practice. You don't need a script, but maybe just a plan on how to conduct your sales meeting. I don't think I've made a video on that subject, so I will make one pretty soon, but it's not too complicated, okay? Once you have like a good offer, you basically just explain to them how the offer works. And if it's actually an irresistible offer, it's going to be very easy to close the meetings, okay? Which is why this whole module 2, offer creation, that's why I keep emphasizing to you guys that this is the most important part. Because once this is done, it's going to help you with the cold calling and it's going to help you with the meetings. Very important. And obviously in the program, you'll get an extensive sales training with me. Module 5, very simple. This is what I call building the team. This can be virtual assistants, media buyers, cold callers, whoever you might need to help you build and scale your agency. This is when I would do the hiring. So as I'm doing the cold calling, pretty much at the same time. Now, who do you hire exactly? This will depend on your niche, your service delivery, what exactly you're doing. Right? Some people, they only need one media buyer. Some people will need a media buyer and a virtual assistant. Some people really want to 10x their results, so they hire cold callers to help them. It's really case by case. All right. I can't really tell you exactly who to hire, but this is when I would do the outsourcing. I would look for team members to assist me with the agency. Okay. And obviously we do provide a white label agency service delivery. Okay. That is one of the best things you could do, so that once you sign a client, let's say you sell them on Google Ads, you would just contact the white label agency and tell them, look, I have a client. This is the onboarding form that you sent me. Take care of the whole job. And the agency basically takes care of the entire thing from that point. And all you have to do is basically just collect the money and do like a monthly report with the client. Now, once you have your team members prepped, you have the sales meeting, you've been cold calling, within a couple of weeks, all right, you should be able to sign your first client. You have to be consistent with the cold calling, but if you're consistent and you try to make about 100 cold calls every single day, or at least you cold call during the prime times, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to sign your first client within a month. Okay, that's what I typically say in my program. So once you sign your first client, obviously you're going to onboard them. Here, it's if you're working with a white label agency, this is when you would basically send them to the agency. But if you're doing the traditional hiring a media buyer on your own, this is when you would basically book a call with them, make sure everything is prepared, make sure you have the offer down. I can't really go in depth on how to onboard for every service delivery, but let's say if you're running Google ads, make sure the landing page, the keywords, the offer, everything is well prepared for the client. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, you want to be conducting monthly reports or even bi-weekly reports with your client to make sure they're kept in the loop as to how much money are they making using your service. Okay, very important that you remind them that, look, by using our service, you're basically 3xing your investment with us. So let's say they pay $2,000 per month and you make them at least $6,000 per month. All right, so you're like, look, sir, this is the amount of leads we brought you. This is the cost per acquisition. Basically the metrics to show them that you are actually doing a good job and you're making the business more money. And yeah, once you've basically completed that process, very simple. As I mentioned, like I always say, your minimum should be at least $2,000 per month. So using those numbers, you would need about 3 or 4 other clients in order to scale to 10 grand per month. And from that point, it's basically just copy paste all of the other steps. You sign your first client, perfect. You keep cold calling. The sales meeting prep is already done. The team members are already done. And you basically just repeat those steps. Okay. So you cold call every single day during prime time. Once you sign on a client, you send them to your media buyer and he takes care of the entire thing for you. All right. So it's not too complex. I don't want you guys to be feel overwhelmed. I know like a bunch of people, they make these videos like how I scale to 10 grand or whatever. And they start talking about 100 different things that they've been doing. So I try to keep it like as simple as possible, as like straight to the point, nothing too complex. As you guys can see, it's nothing crazy, you know, it's just the basics of how to start an agency model business. Follow these steps and there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to scale your agency to 10 grand per month within a couple of months if you stay very consistent with the cold calling and with the other aspects of the business that you have to be doing. So yeah, I hope this was useful. As always, if ever you have any additional questions, feel free to just send me a message on Instagram and I'll happily give you my advice on whatever you need help with. All right, so thank you very much. We'll see each other in the next video. Bye-bye.